Welcome back to Armory Unveiled, the channel where we soar through the most powerful, advanced, and awe-inspiring military machines ever built. Today, we're taking to the skies for a global flight across the world's largest and most capable air forces, ranked by the number of pilots who command their nation's wings of power. From America's unmatched air dominance to China's meteoric rise, from India's evolving ambitions to Japan's precision and Russia's wartime struggles, we'll uncover how manpower, technology, and training shape the future of global air combat. So, buckle up, because this is the world's largest air forces by number of pilots. 3 decades after the end of the Cold War, the skies are still ruled by America, but the race for air dominance is far from over. Around the world, air forces are facing an identity crisis: aging fleets, shrinking birth rates, rising costs, and the dawn of autonomous flight. The cockpit itself is changing, with drones and AI taking the controls once reserved for elite human pilots. Washington and Moscow are struggling to fill their squadrons. Beijing, on the other hand, is expanding aggressively, pouring billions into pilot recruitment and next-generation aircraft. Let's start the countdown. In 5th place, Japan. At the heart of Japan's aerial defense stands a small elite force of about 2,000 men and women. Together, they are the wings of the Japan Air Self-Defense Force, or JASDF. From the thunder of the F-15J Eagle to the stealthy precision of the F-35A Lightning II, every flight is a display of discipline and dedication. Training begins at Hamamatsu Air Base, where cadets start in the humble T-7 trainer before advancing to the Kawasaki T-4, mastering high-speed maneuvering and combat tactics. Those who earn their fighter wings move on to Japan's finest, the F-15J and the F-2 Viper, both built domestically by Mitsubishi. But Japan is also preparing for the future. Its F-35A and F-35B squadrons are expanding fast, with the Izumo-class helicopter carrier soon to operate stealth fighters from its deck. Once that happens, Japan will need more than 100 new carrier-qualified pilots. Each of them represents Tokyo's determination to defend its skies and project power beyond them. 4th place belongs to India, a nation balancing old Soviet roots with new ambitions for technological independence. The Indian Air Force, with roughly 3,800 active pilots, is stretched thin across one of the world's most diverse aircraft inventories. From Russian-built Sukhoi Su-30 MKIs to French Rafales and indigenous Tejas fighters, Indian pilots train across multiple systems, often facing challenges from delayed maintenance and limited resources. Training starts on Pilatus PC-7s and Kiran trainers, progressing to Hawk Mk-132s before cadets leap into frontline Sukhois, a transition that's become more difficult due to supply chain delays caused by the war in Ukraine. And on the seas, India's naval aviators must master the art of carrier operations aboard the INS Vikramaditya, launching MiG-29Ks from a ski jump deck. Yet, despite challenges, progress continues. In a landmark moment, Squadron Leader Mohana Singh became the first woman to pilot India's Tejas, a symbol of the Air Force's evolving identity and modern spirit. At number 3, China's PLAF. With an estimated 4,000 active pilots, the People's Liberation Army Air Force is undergoing one of the largest expansions in modern history. Training begins at the Air Force Aviation University in Changchun, and for naval aviators, the Naval Aviation University in Yantai. These schools have ramped up their programs to meet the growing demand for carrier-qualified pilots. But expansion has come at a cost. The early years of China's naval aviation saw a tragic loss of over 200 pilots. a reminder that the path to air dominance is often paid for in blood and sacrifice. The Liaoning and Shandong carriers currently host around 300 deck-qualified pilots, and the new Fujian will need at least 200 more once it enters full service. The pride of the PLAF, the J-20 Mighty Dragon, now leads the charge as China's premier stealth fighter. Backed by homegrown engines, advanced sensors, and new missiles, the J-20 is fast becoming a symbol of Beijing's technological leap. And it doesn't stop there. The PLAF is expanding its Y-200 airlifters, KJ-500 AWACS aircraft, and KC-200 tankers, all of which depend on a new generation of skilled pilots ready to project Chinese power far beyond its borders. In second place, Russia. The Russian Aerospace Forces, or VVS, maintain around 4,000 active pilots for a fleet exceeding 4,200 aircraft. But the war in Ukraine has taken its toll. Aircraft losses, combat fatigue, and the deaths of experienced aviators have left the VVS struggling to maintain readiness. Training programs at Krasnodar Military Aviation School and Syzran Helicopter School continue, but shortened courses and instructor shortages have strained the pipeline. With the skies over Ukraine more dangerous than ever, Russia has shifted tactics, relying increasingly on drones and long-range missiles rather than sending manned jets into high-risk zones. The question now is whether Russia can rebuild its pilot corps fast enough to sustain its global ambitions, or if the next generation will belong to the unmanned era. And finally, the undisputed leader of the skies, the United States of America. With over 37,000 trained pilots and nearly 15,000 aircraft, American air power remains unmatched. Yet even the world's strongest air force faces a pilot shortage. The U.S. Air Force, Navy, and Marine Corps are all under pressure to fill their squadrons, while the demand for skilled aviators grows every year. The U.S. Air Force alone fields around 13,000 pilots, while the Navy and Marines add another 10,000 between them. Each U.S. supercarrier needs more than 200 deck-qualified pilots to keep its air wing operational. The Army Aviation Branch adds another 14,000 helicopter pilots, operating nearly 4,000 rotorcraft across the globe. According to the Mitchell Institute for Aerospace Studies, the shortage of experienced aviators now poses a greater threat than even aircraft availability, because veteran pilots don't just fly better, they make their wingmen better. In other words, experience wins wars. As nations look towards sixth-generation fighters, AI co-pilots, and drone swarms, one truth remains. Human pilots, those men and women in the cockpit, are still the most critical component of any air force. Their judgment, courage, and skill define not just who controls the skies, but who commands the future. This has been the world's largest air forces by number of pilots. If you enjoyed this deep dive into global air power, don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us next time as Armory Unveiled explores the machines shaping tomorrow's battles.